There are currently 18 species of bats living in the UK, and they are all in serious danger. As the human population continues to grow, our activities and lifestyles begin to encroach upon the lives and habitats of wildlife. Currently, the leading threat to bats in the UK is urbanisation. Urbanisation includes the process of habitat destruction for new buildings, the demolition of old buildings, and the renovation of existing buildings. Bats are protected by law, so any building activity that may pose a risk to bats or their habitats requires landowners to conduct a bat survey, but people aren't often aware of the importance or legality of these surveys. The law is open to interpretation, and according to one architect we spoke to, the law is not always followed because people cannot afford the time or money required for surveys. And even where a survey finds that bats may be at risk, building development can often still go ahead. Other than urbanisation, less common threats to bats include pesticides, wind turbines, domestic cats, and building materials. Bat conservation is slow progress because people's perception of bats is almost exclusively negative. Due to mythology and folklore, bats are misunderstood and associated with vampires, death, darkness, and Halloween, so you can understand why protecting bats is low on people's priorities. What people don't often know is that bats are actually an incredibly important species of wildlife. They are needed for the pollination of plants and the dispersal of seeds, and they are vital pest controllers, providing a valuable service to the agricultural industry. Not only are bats very important for the environment, they're really not so scary when you get to know them. So how can we help to solve this conflict between humans and bats? The need to conserve bats needs to be taken more seriously by those involved in building development. We can reduce the negative impact on bats by up to 46% if we build on less preferred habitats and leave more green spaces. However, this is not always possible when we're constantly needing to house a growing human population. But when building on new land is deemed necessary, local planning authorities should consider providing more trees and hedgerows. Alternatively, the provision of green roofs could also offer roosting and foraging areas for wildlife in towns and cities. Mandating the provision of bat boxes on new builds could provide an easier, cheaper alternative to green roofs. The problem is, it's really hard to convince stakeholders to care about wildlife conservation when the presence of bats seemingly only offers negative consequences. Also, people aren't likely to be keen on bat boxes on their homes due to the negative misconceptions surrounding bats. But you can start helping bats today by choosing to install a bat box on your home or in your garden. Presently, it seems that the best solution for solving the human-bat conflict is to educate ourselves and others about the important roles that bats play in ecology and to begin undoing the myths associated with them. The time to act for bats is now. We could begin to change people's perceptions of bats and their importance via an educational campaign. A campaign for bats could include making educational videos for different demographics and age ranges. Adults may be interested in the environmental impact of bats and the fact that the pest control service they offer may be saving the agricultural industry millions of pounds, which is subsidised by British taxpayers. Ultimately, we want adults to understand that bats are not dirty and diseased vermin and that it is safe to share our environment with them. Children may be more interested in facts about bats, such as how they use sonar to travel. They may also be interested in becoming citizen scientists and using detection equipment to find and monitor local bat populations. This is an increasingly common method employed by researchers who will loan equipment to children's clubs.
And can you hear that noise that's coming through? That? Yeah? So bat detectors are really directional. So if you're pointing up the road and there's no bats, you won't hear anything. But if you can see a bat and you point your bat detector at the bat, you'll be able to see it flying.
The educational campaign videos could be promoted on platforms such as social media, on TV ads and TV shows, in schools and kids' clubs, and in places where animal lovers are likely to see them, such as in veterinary clinics. To help promote the campaign, we can use a charismatic mascot. Mascots are eye-catching and help give a face to your cause. They are particularly helpful to get children to engage. And of course, we know that celebrity endorsement is a key feature for many successful promotions. We just need to find a celebrity that's batty about bats. This campaign is just a recommended call to action, and in absence of such a campaign, it is down to us as individuals to do what we can to spread the message. Bats need our help, today.